wanted to share this dream that I had this morning. So in the dream, I was in like my old high school, like cafeteria, sitting at a table with my old classmates. And I knew in the dream that everybody at this table had like Trump memorabilia. And even though I knew that they had like the shirts and the hats and the pencils and flags and stuff, even though I knew that they were there, when I looked at them, I couldn't see them. So some people's shirts were blank, some of them were like blurred out and like garbled up, and I just couldn't see anything. I knew that's what it was, but I'm like looking and I'm like, there's nothing there. And then there's a guy across the table from me, and I know in the dream that he's wearing a Trump 2024 t-shirt. And I'm looking at it on the front and I'm like, it's completely blank. I can't see anything. Like, where is it? And I must have like said something to him about it, because he looks down at his shirt and he's like, oh, that's silly. I put my shirt on backwards. And he's like, I need to turn it around. I need to switch my shirt around. So he like starts to pull his arms in his sleeve to turn his shirt around. So like all the Trump stuff was on his back behind him. So he is getting ready to switch it around to put it on the front. But that's where I woke up. So that's interesting, as we're just a few days away from the elections. And I keep having dreams about Donald Trump, and that's not pretty normal for me. I know a lot of us have been like wondering how it's going to go, because there's so many different scenarios that could play out. From like, I've kind of thought all along that Trump was going to win, but whether or not they allow him to take office in January, I don't know. Or if he does, then that would like buy them some time to really sit down and brainstorm how they're going to stop this, because they're not just going to stop and be like, okay, we give up, let's let America be great again and all that stuff. They're not going to stop. After they got away with what they did last time, you know, Obama has been the one in control this whole time. So they're not going to let that just be swept under the rug and let him continue. Either they would have that time to figure out how they would take him out and cut that time short, or we're taken out and we just don't see it. So it could either be that, or I saw yesterday that Obama, of course, has been gallivanting around pushing Kamala Harris, and to promote her is to promote himself. Just as with Biden, it's been Obama all along in the basement. And then I shared this morning the dream that I had like 3 years ago, where there was a political event going on, and there was like a panel of people, political figures, like this table. And the way that the dream portrayed it was, well, Obama was there and he picked up like a football or something to play a game, and he threw the football at us in the crowd, and me and my husband were like, he just cheated. Like, he did some sort of underhanded thing to where we knew that he cheated, and we were like upset about that. So maybe they're gonna cheat again, and I don't know. And then I've heard like people talking about all these, you know, they could create civil war conditions that would just put everything on hold. I don't really know. There's so many different crazy outcomes that could happen. So I'm just kind of sitting back, you know, with popcorn, watching like everybody else to see how it's going to play out. So, and then also in that Obama dream where the political event was going on and he threw the ball and cheated, there was also like Nephilims and giants. And I've been telling you guys on here lately about that. I had the dream that said the Nephilims are coming in October, which we're in October now, and we're in the middle of a crazy meteor storm, and people are seeing fireballs everywhere. And then later on in that dream as well was stuff about Florida and meteors. Okay, so that brings me to the next part of this video, which is Florida. So my friend Andrea lives in Florida. Some of you guys know who she is. she shared with me this morning that she was pretty shaken from this dream that she had. She dreamt of a crazy hurricane, like massive historical, like she was really scared in the dream of this hurricane. And like I said, she lives in Florida, so she has experienced many, many, many hurricanes. She's used to it. Okay, so she just like rode out Hurricane Milton, just like basically slept through it and trusted God to take care of her and her animals, and he did. So none of that really like phases her. For her to be like so shaken up about this dream tells me that it was bad. And then after she told me that, I scrolled down in YouTube and saw somebody else just posted that there is another really, really bad storm coming, and that what they saw was, she said it, I guess it was a dream or a vision. She said it looked like with Hurricane Helene, and that like all of the water was undrinkable, so people had to have like those portable water filter bottles or whatever so that people could have something to drink. So I don't know if that's, I don't know. Okay, so then after Andrea told me all that, I guess she was like researching like historical hurricane facts or something about the winds, because she said it was the winds in her dream that was wild. And she sent me some information that said like the highest recorded winds in a hurricane was from a Hurricane Patricia. Okay, so that's interesting because the past week or so, she has been telling me that a friend of hers recalls supposedly Paul Begley at some point had shared that he was told that the rapture would happen around the time of a hurricane that starts with the letter P. Okay, so one of the next hurricanes coming up here soon is Hurricane Patty, which Patty is the short form of Patricia. Okay, the hurricane with the highest recorded winds. And we know history repeats itself, and a lot of people have been seeing on here just Florida being completely wiped off the map. I've had so many dreams of disasters in Florida myself, and I remember about like probably almost 10 years ago now, I had a dream of a hurricane so bad, and I've never been in a hurricane before. I live in West Virginia and we don't have anything like that here. But this hurricane was so bad that like the winds were so strong that I saw palm trees bend over backwards, like where the leaves were touching the ground. Like they were doing a backhand spring, like completely backflipped over, bent over, totally like touching the ground. That's how strong the winds were in my dream. So for me to dream of a hurricane is completely out of the realm of my psyche or whatever. So I feel like there's still more to come, and in the video that I watched of the woman who shared where she said it looked like Hurricane Helene and there was the issue with the water being undrinkable, she said that she was told that if we could pray for it to be thwarted, which I believe that's what happened with Hurricane Milton. I believe enough of us were afraid of what happened in Asheville that we just prayed and prayed and prayed against that. And I've seen a couple channels on here of people that went live to do like prayers against Hurricane Milton. So that fizzled out in the very end and did not turn out to be what they hoped it would be, I would say, because I feel like they are creating these disasters for a reason. And I believe they particularly created Helene in Asheville for what I'm trying to be careful with my words. You guys know what they are after there or under there, a certain substance. I believe that they're wanting to get their hands on that so badly because I feel like that's going to be technology that's going to be used in the mark of the you-know-what. And they're feverishly trying to get that. And if we're that close to that, that just tells you, we're there. So And then that made me think, like, with what just happened in Roswell, which is so random, out in the desert, Roswell just had a massive, massive flood, which is like something completely unheard of. And so I heard that they like blocked off all the roads going in and out of that whole area. And I'm like, like that just sounds fishy. Like, what are they staging or doing or hiding out there? Because, they're feverishly after this substance in Asheville, for what I just said. I believe they're going to use that for. And then over in Roswell, quote unquote aliens, UFOs, we have been shown that that's going to be their excuse when we're out of here. So they're like scrambling around trying to make all of that happen. And that just tells you how close we are. Okay. So I wanted to encourage you with that. If you're feeling, discouraged or whatever, don't. Like, it might be taking a little bit of time, but it's just going the way it's supposed to go. And it's going at God's pace. But here we are in the midst of everything. The elections and the stuff going on with Israel and Iran and the disasters everywhere and the meteors and fireballs. There's just so much going on, and it's the birth pains, the contractions right before the baby's born, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. So we're there, you guys. So let me know what you think about the Trump dream. But I gotta go. Bye.